All right, today we're diving into an absolutely incredible story of faith. It's a story of trial, of submission, and it's a story that billions of people commemorate every single year.
So think about this: a father, a son, and a command that seems just impossible. How on earth did an order to sacrifice a beloved child become a symbol of mercy? And not just that, but a core part of a global pilgrimage. To figure that out, we've got to go way back to the very beginning of this ritual.
Okay, so the first thing we really need to get our heads around is that sacrifice, well, it's an ancient act of worship. This isn't something that just popped up with Abraham. Nope, it goes all the way back, like to the dawn of human history, as a way people tried to connect with the divine.
Now, in the Islamic tradition, this act is called qurban. But here's the thing: it's not just about the physical sacrifice. The Quran makes it super clear that the real essence, the original point of it all, is built on two really profound concepts. First, tawheed, which is the absolute oneness of God, and second, taqwa, which is this deep inner sense of piousness or God consciousness. Seriously, these two ideas, they're the key to unlocking this entire story.
So you can almost think of sacrifice as this continuous thread weaving through divine history. We first see it with Adam's sons, then it pops up again with Noah right after the flood. But it's when we get to Abraham that this ritual is totally redefined. It becomes the ultimate test of faith. And that, of course, brings us to the man himself.
So let's talk about Abraham, because his story isn't just about one single test. No way. It's about a whole lifetime spent searching for the truth and then submitting to that truth no matter what it cost him.
I mean, even as a young kid, living in a society that was all about idol worship, Abraham just couldn't get on board. He'd look at the idols his own dad was making and selling, and he just knew deep down they had no real power. He'd look up at the stars, the moon, the sun, but he realized, hey, these things all set, they disappear, they can't be the ultimate creator. His whole being was just searching for that one permanent, singular source of everything.
And that right there brings us back to that first big idea we mentioned, tawheed. This is the absolute bedrock of Abraham's faith, this unshakable belief in one God, only one. And you have to understand, back then, this was a totally radical idea. It put him on a direct collision course with, well, pretty much everyone: his family, his community, even the king.
And this powerful faith is what led him to follow what had to be one of the toughest commands ever. He was told to take his wife, Hagar, and their baby son, Ishmael, and journey out into the desert, to a valley that was completely empty. I mean, think about it. No water, no people, not a sign of life anywhere. And this desolate spot? This was the place that would one day become Mecca.
So can you imagine this scene? Abraham turns to leave them there, and Hagar, understandably worried, asks him, "Are you just leaving us here, or is this a command from God?" And when he confirms it's from God, her whole demeanor changes. Her response is just perfect faith. She says, "Then Allah will not let us be lost." Wow. That moment of incredible trust from Hagar is so important because it shows this wasn't just Abraham's faith, it was a shared conviction, a family united in submission. So fast forward. Years pass. Ishmael grows from a baby into a young man, right there in that same valley. And just when you think, okay, maybe their biggest challenges are over, Abraham is hit with the most gut-wrenching, unimaginable test of his life. It starts with a dream that keeps coming back, night after night. And you have to remember, for prophets, dreams aren't just dreams. They're a form of divine revelation. And the message in this dream was as clear as it was horrifying. He was being commanded to sacrifice his son, his beloved son Ishmael, the one he had waited so long for. Okay, but what's truly amazing here is how Abraham handles this. Even though it's a divine command, he doesn't just grab his son and go. He approaches him with so much compassion. He explains the dream, and then he gently asks, "So, what do you think?" It's just this moment of incredible tenderness right in the middle of this unthinkable command.
And Ishmael's reply? It's just as astounding. He immediately gets it. He understands this is from God, and he completely submits. He actually reassures his father, telling him he'll be steadfast. It shows a level of faith that perfectly mirrors his parents. In that moment, father and son are absolutely united in this.
And this is where we need to bring in that second key principle we talked about, taqwa. See, the whole point of this test was never, ever about taking a life. God didn't want bloodshed. The entire ordeal was designed to test what was in their hearts. It was all about revealing the depth of their devotion, their inner piousness, their willingness to put God's will above even their deepest human love.
So, you get to this crucial moment. Abraham has laid his son down. He's ready to fulfill the command. He has proven his absolute submission. And right then, God intervenes. A voice calls out, telling him he has already fulfilled the vision. And a ram is provided to be sacrificed instead. The trial was over. They had passed. Just wow.
So after passing this ultimate test of personal faith, Abraham and Ishmael are given a new mission, a new task, and this one was about building something physical, something lasting, a center for the worship of the one true God for every single generation to come.
But here's a really interesting part. They weren't just building from scratch. According to Islamic tradition, the Kaaba was actually the very first house of worship for all of humanity, originally built by Adam. Over time, it was lost, buried under sand after the Great Flood. And so generations later, Abraham and Ishmael were divinely guided to find those original ancient foundations and rebuild.
So you have this beautiful image of father and son working together, raising the walls of the Kaaba once again. And while they were building, they were praying that this place would become a sanctuary, a center of pure worship of the one God, and that it would draw people's hearts to it forever. Their personal story of sacrifice was literally being cemented in stone. Okay, so let's bring this all back to today. Why does this ancient story still matter so much? Well, it's because it isn't just a story that you tell. It's a story that you relive through deeply sacred rituals. And you can see these connections so clearly. That ultimate test Abraham faced, that's commemorated every year during Eid al-Adha, the festival of sacrifice. Hagar's frantic search for water, that's reenacted by millions during the Hajj pilgrimage. Circling the Kaaba, that honors the very house they built. And the well of Zamzam, whose water is considered sacred, that's a constant reminder of the miracle that saved Hagar and her baby son.
So you see, these aren't just random traditions. They're a living, breathing memory. Every single one of these rituals connects millions of worshipers directly to the struggles, the faith, and the ultimate triumph of this one family. It takes a story from thousands of years ago and turns it into a powerful, real, spiritual experience right here and now.
I mean, it's pretty incredible when you think about it. How can a single, personal act of submission that happened in a desolate desert thousands of years ago continue to echo so powerfully today? It literally shapes the identity, the worship, and the collective memory of a global faith. It's a question that really shows the enduring power of this story.